All right, Shalom. I want to start off as always by giving all praises and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Racha HaKodash. Double honors unto the apostles, the elders, and the bishops of Great Millstone. I want to send much love unto the brothers out there doing his work in truth and sincerity. And also want to send peace and blessings unto the believers of the hopeful elect. And in this lesson, I wanted to do a response video onto this video that was put up here on Rob Hoff page. And as you can see, the title of his video reads, "What happens when AI takes all the jobs?" And I wanted to play this video here just so that you brothers and sisters can see what could possibly be the turnout for AI taking these jobs and the people who are unemployed pretty much getting UBI, and how all of this will pretty much leads into you accepting the MOTB to survive. All right. That's the system that Esau is setting up. They're going to cut these jobs on purpose. Okay. Make you unemployed on purpose, make you pretty much wanting. Okay. So that you can run to them for the solution, and they will have it. And guys like Sam Altman, Elon Musk, all these guys, man, they're being used to help forward these AI systems to bring hell up on you. Okay. And they're talking about UBI, all right, and letting you know, hey, look, we're going to have to use this for the people. And give you pretty much a monthly allowance, okay, probably $1,000, $1,200, who knows, but just enough for you to have. But it won't be enough for you to survive, man. Now, what Sam Altman is saying, he's saying, look, when AI take these jobs, they will make things cheaper for the people. So $1,000 is going to be a lot of money in that day, is what he's going to try to convince you of. But I want to play the video here, man. I'm going to play a good portion of it because all of it is good. And I have to speed up a little bit. I may speed it up some more because the dude talked pretty slow. But I want to play this here, man. Just some information about the coming MOTB system. Boy, what it is edifying. So make sure my audio. All right, so here we go.
If this technology goes wrong, it can go quite wrong.
AGI will be smarter than all humans combined.
We may indeed have a serious employment crisis on our hands.
AGI, or Artificial General Intelligence. For years, it seemed like science fiction, something far in the future that we wouldn't need to worry about. However, more and more experts in the field of AI are now very clear. Artificial General Intelligence is not decades away. It will be here soon.
I think, I would say probably like 3 to 5 years.
Who knows how many years? I tend to believe a fewer number of years. I think we're sort of in the 2 to 4 range.
It does make you think that we'll get there by 2026 or 2027.
He believes that we maybe, I guess by now, have 4 years left.
Yet, we are not prepared. What will happen to the millions of jobs, from truck drivers to graphic designers, when there are machines that can perform the same tasks better, faster, cheaper, and safer than humans? When people are laid off but still have bills to pay, how do we respond? What does it mean to live in a world after AGI?
I think ultimately we will have to have some kind of universal basic income. I don't think we're going to have a choice.
Since AI first emerged in the 1950s, achieving artificial general intelligence has always been the field's ultimate objective. It would be the technology to reshape humanity's future completely. Just a couple of years ago, many experts thought we would have to wait for multiple decades for real AGI. However, progress in AI is happening so quickly that they now have adjusted their expectations, and it's probably closer than most people realize.
I would say that we are less than 3 years from that point.
Definitely within the next 5 years.
To most people, somewhere between 2 to 5 years sounds like a relatively short time. So let's examine why most experts think such a short time is likely. So many of the leading researchers are making these claims because the models have improved incredibly quickly. Let's look at just the past couple of years. Between 2019 and 2023, we went from GPT-2, which could write simple sentences that mostly made sense, to GPT-4, which could solve math equations on a high level, write code, and score higher on university exams than most students. In a short period of 4 years, we went from a model with the capabilities of a toddler to a model that functions as a brilliant college student. Most people were shocked about the Great Leap. However, a couple of the best researchers have already seen this coming, because they recognized the scaling laws. That is, AI becomes consistently better if you keep increasing certain variables, such as computational power and model size. These trends have accurately predicted the progress in AI we have seen thus far. The researchers who follow these trend lines believe we are at the beginning of another big leap in performance. Except this time, it could take us from a smart high schooler to expert level or PhD level abilities around 2027 or 2028. So let's take a look at these trends and how the AI models are getting improved. A decade ago, the largest AI models had computing resources roughly equivalent to a small university lab. However, today, companies are investing tens of billions of dollars in training larger and more powerful AI models. In just a handful of years, we have scaled the raw computing power behind AI by millions. Over the past couple of years, AI has proven itself more and more without progress slowing down. And that is why companies are willing to make even bigger bets and train with even more compute. Recently, OpenAI announced the Stargate project, which will be the most significant AI project yet. Over the next 4 years, they intend to invest $500 billion into building new AI infrastructure.
A new American company that will invest $500 billion at least in AI infrastructure in the United States and very, very quickly, moving very rapidly.
Beyond just adding more computing power to
Right. Just going to stop right there real quick. Stargate. That is something that people did not pay attention to. The men of the Lord did. Okay. Those of us who are watching, when we heard about Stargate, that raised our spiritual tentacles. Okay. Our spiritual spider senses went off like, oh shit. They're setting up this AI governance in Babylon the Great. And they're going to use Stargate to do it. When Trump got inaugurated, right, he had those tech geeks with him, Sam Altman, Larry Ellison, and an Asian guy. And they spoke about a new golden age coming to America. And as they talked, they spoke about how AI would have an impact on every aspect of our lives, whether it's medicines, banking, schooling, traffic, transportation. They spoke about it all. So they're setting up this system on purpose, man. And this is what the Apostle John saw in his vision, okay? He saw AI governance. He saw drones and robots. But ultimately, he saw people being chipped, okay? He saw people being chipped, man. And making transactions with their C-hip, all right? But they'll be able to do more than transact with it. It's just that's just the, basis of life, buying and selling, okay? But they'll be able to do a multitude of things with it, right? Have access to the internet and, a controller robot, all kinds of things, right? Elon Musk said that his Neuralink here in the near future, he said that his patients and those who have Neuralink will be able to alter their reality, okay? That they will have superhuman strength. They have superhuman knowledge, okay? So that AI can't surpass them in intellect. This is what they're promising, man. Being able to download all the information in the world into your brain. To be able to speak every language in the world. This is what they're promising. To the world, that sounds cool. That sounds attractive. I can have all that. I can have superpowers, right? I can speak to someone, without opening my mouth. I can just think it, right? This is what they're promising, man. Oh, Klaus Schwab. Klaus Schwab said back in 2017, he says 10 years from now, as he talked to the crowd, he said, you all will have brain implants. And I'll be able to feel how you think. I'll be able to dictate your actions, all that shit. I'm like, what the hell is he talking about? But that's the power that they're saying that AI is going to bring them. Okay? So this is very interesting, man. Very, very interesting. This is right around the corner. They're saying late 2026, early 2027, you're going to see the rise of artificial general intelligence. And once they get artificial general intelligence, they're going to get ASI, artificial super intelligence, which is going to amplify AI on a whole nother level. Okay? So, very interesting. Here we go.
To AI models, researchers are also finding ways to make them learn more efficiently. Every so often, a new training strategy comes along to get a better AI model for the same amount of computation. Teaching AI smarter methods is almost like discovering a new way to study. You are getting better results in half the time. Our training methods get to 100 times more effective every couple of years, and this kind of progress adds up. But most important of all, next to more computing power and algorithmic improvements, we actually start giving the models the tools they need. Even when a model is already quite smart in its raw form, we often tie its hands behind its back without actually realizing it. For instance, older AIs were forced to answer math problems immediately without writing down their steps, which meant they messed up simple calculations. Then, we let them think on paper by showing their step-by-step reasoning, and performance suddenly shot way up. More of these improvements, such as allowing models to look things up on the web, could potentially unlock huge hidden capabilities. It is important to note that a significant part of the leap towards AGI is not just a smarter chatbot, but a system that can genuinely function as a colleague or co-researcher. Once you give the models the opportunity to conduct in-depth research and use various tools and software, you get something that much more closely resembles a human. It would be able to onboard like a new employee, familiarizing itself with the company, researching information, creating long-term plans, and completing tasks entirely on its own. There is still an enormous amount of potential hidden behind the simple chatbot interface, and unlocking this gives rise to a drop-in remote worker who could quickly take over the work of countless people. So, taking a step back, some researchers were not surprised by this leap from GPT-2 to GPT-4 because it's essentially part of the same ongoing trend. A bit more than a decade ago, AI learned to recognize animals in photos. Next came GPT-2, which could form semi-plausible sentences, and then GPT-4 scores higher than most students on many standardized tests. Recently, new reasoning models came out, which make even fewer errors, and progress in AI has continued. If these trends continue like this, for the next couple of years, we will likely have AGI by 2027 or 2028. So you don't need to believe in science fiction for us to achieve AGI. You only need to trust that the trends will continue for another couple of years. And there are absolutely no signs of progress slowing down. Of course, there are uncertainties. However, the past 10 years have shown that whenever there was a supposed wall, the AI researchers always found a solution. And this is why these experts do everything they can to tell everyone that AGI is coming in a couple of years. Because they know that AGI won't just be another technology. A general intelligence will change the world as we know it today. Because if AI reaches a level at which it can do the tasks a human can, but then better, faster, cheaper, and safer than humans, mass automation will be inevitable.
The amount of change we're going to see over the next 5 years, 10 years, will dwarf everything that's happened over the last 30. If you're in the Fortune 500, if you're an S&P 500 company, if you're in the Dow 30, right? If you're one of the bigger companies, you already know this. And in talking to a lot of these big companies, they know their workforces.
I want you to imagine two competing companies. The first is a typical e-commerce fulfillment center as we know it today. People walk the aisles, scan barcodes, and pick and pack the orders. Therefore, the quality and speed depend entirely on their energy and focus. The second company, however, integrates AI. Robots move through the aisles, guided by a central intelligence. They never tire, never pause for lunch, and they are never ill. This company does the job with perfect accuracy. It runs 24/7, has no labor costs, and therefore can lower prices. The first company just cannot compete against this combination of quality, speed, and lower price. Therefore, if they do not automate too, it will disappear. In the end, there are a couple of things we know for sure. Companies seek maximum profit at minimum costs. AGI drastically reduces costs by replacing human labor, and companies that do not automate become uncompetitive and won't survive. Therefore, companies don't really have a choice. Automation becomes economically mandatory, not optional. Even if they want to keep humans, they can't stay competitive with other companies that do automate with AI. Some individuals who think this isn't desirable might say, well, let's make some federal laws that regulate and prevent AI automation.
Right, real quick, as he's going into, every company will be forced to be automated. All right, especially if you have a cubicle job. If you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, okay? Anything dealing with computing, right? Also, warehouse jobs, line jobs. These robots are coming to take your job. They don't need no break. They don't need no food. They don't need no water. They just go. These companies know that, okay? So this change is it's gonna rapidly change society, bro. Okay? And look, I know Esau, is going to hurry up and do it. Especially with Jake inside the warehouse, you know, you got to chase Jake around the warehouse. Jake calling in all the time. You know, all this BS, bro. Bro, Esau going to put a robot in there to go order select, right? I'm trying to picture a robot order selected, man, because I did order selection, you know, in warehouses for a few years, man. Order selection is a very tiring job, okay? Very tiring. So I'm trying to picture a robot in there, you know, order selecting is, you know, or riding a forklift damn robot, man. This is crazy, but this is how life is going to get, okay? There is no job that they will not be able to infiltrate, okay? Maybe plumbing, right? If you're a plumber, robots probably can do plumbing jobs. Jobs dealing with gas turn-ons, okay? Robots can do those jobs, right? Robots can climb into attics and turn on water heaters and all that stuff. They won't be able to do those jobs. But as far as the desk jobs and, you know, dispatch, all that gonna be taken over by AI, bro. A lot of people gonna be out of work. A lot of people gonna be out of work, bro. And it's gonna be mass protests. This is gonna lead to mass protests, bro, all across America. These people have went to college, right, all these years. They have accumulated all this debt. They wrote all these damn essays, these papers, these PowerPoints for years, studying, grinding, just for AI to come along and take their jobs. They're going to be hurt, man. All them diplomas, right? All them bachelor degrees, this degree, that degree, means nothing because AI come and take your shit. So this is going to cause mass protests. Pretty much all hell to break loose among society, bro. We talking second Ezra 15 and 16, okay? But here we go.
I will come back to the question of whether this is desirable or not, but despite that, it won't be stoppable, because the same scenario we have seen between companies also applies between nations. So let's say the United States created laws against AI automation, then countries that use AI automation will gain a competitive advantage, and countries that do not innovate will be left behind. We have seen this already in the past with the Industrial Revolution. Some countries embraced it and got ahead, and the ones who did not fell behind. And the same will be true this time. Technological progress really can't be stopped, because if there is a more efficient way to get the same outcome, markets will always favor that method. And this time, more efficient means without humans. The AGI revolution will be fundamentally different compared to all other revolutions we have seen before. The reason why humans currently sit at the top of the hierarchy is not because we are the fastest, the largest, or the strongest. We are at the top because we are the smartest. All the inventions we have made, from the agricultural revolution to the industrial revolution, have ensured we have had to exert less physical effort. But human intelligence has always been needed this far. Now that AI systems are performing these cognitive tasks increasingly efficiently, we are no longer the only intelligent beings anymore. And we are just at the beginning. Many people have already been replaced, but that's nothing compared to what's yet to come. Of course, many people are still skeptical about the number of jobs that will be replaced. They think that AI will only take on a couple of roles, such as translators, graphic designers, and customer service. But because of its true generality, if AGI gets trained right, there's virtually no profession it cannot learn to do. Accountants, lawyers, journalists, even radiologists, all of them are within its reach. That is what makes AGI fundamentally different from all other technologies. Take, for example, the financial sector. It has always been filled with highly talented individuals at calculating and analyzing numbers. What used to take days of hard work for a highly trained analyst is now done by AI in a fraction of the time. The same is happening in software development. AI is already generating code much faster and often much more accurately compared to human programmers.
Getting good at programming very fast. As I saw on, typical real-world programming tasks, models have gone from 3% in January of this year to 50% in October of this year.
Ultimately, there's not a single job that AGI can't possibly learn. Jobs that need a physical component can now be done through robots with a lot of precision. During medical operations, one might expect that surgeons are irreplaceable, but robotics makes extremely precise operations possible. Complex operations can be performed with unparalleled precision because of the combination of AI and robotics, which in turn significantly decreases the number of mistakes and complications that occur. It is not difficult to imagine a day when a robot surgeon executes specific operations entirely on its own. One of the frontier AI robotics companies is Figure. Here is a short clip of 2 of their robots that perform quick tasks on a single neural net. This is quite impressive already. Just 2 weeks ago, they released a new video introducing natural walking. It is not there yet, but it's not difficult to see where this is going. And they are not alone. Other robotics companies such as Tesla and Boston Dynamics are innovating rapidly too. Of course, nobody knows precisely how things will unfold. There might be a scenario in which at first, licensed professionals like pilots and doctors resist automation due to regulation. They might survive in the short term, because in these cases, there are trust issues and especially many moral questions that come with it, such as who's responsible if a surgery goes wrong or a self-driving car crashes. But historically, once technology consistently proves itself safer, cheaper, and better, regulations will inevitably adjust. If an intelligent system can perform surgeries with much less error, proving itself 10 or 100 times safer and resulting in much fewer casualties, but someone cannot use it because we haven't figured out who's responsible, when will that become immoral? So, a few jobs might survive in the short term if we cannot determine who is responsible. But still, if you take these jobs out of the equation, the vast majority of jobs will succumb to AGI quickly, making the vast majority of humans redundant in the labor market. So, we know that AGI will arrive soon, and it will affect the majority of jobs in our economy. Then, what should we do about it?
There will be fewer and fewer jobs that a robot cannot do better. What to do about mass unemployment? This is going to be a massive social challenge. And I think ultimately we will have to have some kind of universal basic income. I don't think we can have a choice.
One possible solution to mass unemployment and the loss of incomes that comes with it is UBI, Universal Basic Income. Universal Basic Income is the idea that everyone in society, regardless of income or background, receives a fixed sum of money each month. Think, for example, of $1,000 each month for every adult. No conditions are attached, and you're entirely free to decide how to spend the money. It might look revolutionary, but the concept is definitely not new. Historically, UBI has had supporters from the economic left and the economic right, including Milton Friedman and Martin Luther King. Both men believed that UBI could simultaneously fix economic inequalities and improve government inefficiencies. Recently, Andrew Yang popularized UBI again through his 2020 presidential campaign, in which he highlighted the increasing risk of automation-driven unemployment. His campaign led to new public discussions surrounding UBI, but unfortunately he did not succeed in winning the nomination. However, because of AI, the discourse around universal basic income is getting more and more momentum. UBI is more relevant than it's ever been, because more people are realizing that AGI will be able to perform nearly any human job. If that happens, billions of people will lose their primary source of income, and this leads to all kinds of economic and social instability. Therefore, a solution like UBI becomes necessary. And that is exactly why OpenAI, a non-profit closely tied to Sam Altman and OpenAI, has launched one of the biggest studies on universal basic income.
We have a major change to get through. And we, all of us, the people that work on technology, I think it's our responsibility, or at least we're certainly going to be held responsible by the people whose lives we change as AI rolls out.
The question that has always surrounded UBI in the past was, who will pay for this? Let's look at the United States. If you give every American citizen above the age of 18 $1,000 every month, that will cost around $2.5 trillion a year. And even then, it is still far from a livable wage. However, this all changes with the rise of AGI.
So when politicians talk about universal basic income, it's always about cost. How can we possibly afford this? How can this ever make economic sense? And I think this is one of the stupidest arguments in the world. If the AI really does come and take all the jobs, it will do that because it can do them for free. And so the cost of a really good quality of life will go down a huge amount. Factor of 10, maybe factor of 20.
Because AI can create a lot of...
Yeah, so as Sam Altman said, ain't no need to worry, all right, when you get UBI, right, when you only get $1,000, $1,200 a month, don't worry, AI gonna, cost, make the cost of living go all the way down, so you ain't gotta worry about nothing. You believe that shit you want to. Hey, man. They finna set up everybody for the okie dokie, bro. You believe Sam Altman, you freaking want to, bro. These devils finna give you rations, okay? I got a very strong feeling that UBI may be in digital currencies. For the US, it will be stable coins, right? It's a form of central bank digital currencies, bro, okay? You get those digital currencies, okay? That's programmable money. They could program that money for you to only buy what they'll allow you to buy, okay? That's how authoritarian this thing's going to be. You won't have the ability to just go and, get what you want to get. That's not how life's going to be. These things will be regulated, okay? Especially when you get that MOTB, ultimately. okay? It's going to be regulated, man. And you won't have the spending power, right? The autonomy to just go to Walmart and, Kroger's, all these places and get what you want to get. That's going to be out the window. On top of you being a so-called bad citizen, right? On top of you being radical and opposing the government. All these things going to play into it, man. All these factors. So if you're being out of order, so-called, according to this new system that's coming, they can just cut off your money. Then what you going to do? Get a side hustle? Ain't going to be no side hustles in that day, bro. They cutting off all side hustles, all right? No more cash for you to just go and no. That's going to be out the window, bro. No man may be able to buy or sell unless you got the MOTB. And even with you having the MOTB, you got to be in order with this system to thrive. So this is no joke, man. What we're witnessing is the stepping stones to this system being implemented, man. Okay? So I'm playing a little bit more of this here, then I'm gonna get my scripture and close out.
Of abundance. The labor cost with AGI is basically negligible, and therefore the costs of certain goods will fall to an incredibly low level, essentially to the costs of raw materials and energy. Economists estimate that prices could drop 10 or 20 times compared with today, making $1,000 a month after more like what is $20,000 right now. Things like universal high income make much more sense in that light. But universal basic income won't happen overnight. The government will become increasingly important as we move into the AGI era. As many people will lose their jobs and income, we cannot expect companies to take care of redistributing their wealth and giving up the earnings they have gathered with the help of AI automation. Because companies' main goal is profit maximization, not societal welfare. Expecting voluntary redistribution of wealth from these companies is unrealistic. They have very little incentive to do so. And therefore the government needs to step up. It is their responsibility to provide stability and welfare. And therefore they must regulate by redistributing economic gains fairly. This won't be easy, but the stakes are incredibly high. We could end up in an age of abundance, but only if we prepare, as societal nets are created that manage the transition into the AGI era.
All right, so this is all I want to play on that, man. As you can see, these devils are setting up pretty much this AI governance system, okay, to where every aspect of your life will be dominated, traced and tracked by AI. And this is going to lead to the MOTB being implemented, bro. Point blank and period. All right, so I'm going to get this scripture here, and then I'll close out, right? Very, very famous chapter here, man. Psalm 64, NLT Bible, it says, "O Yahweh, listen to my complaint. Protect my life from my enemies' threats." Okay? When Esau says it's going to be mass unemployment and we need a way to fix that, that's him threatening your life, your livelihood. What do you mean AI coming to take my job? I can do my own damn job. I don't need AI to do it for me, bro. I can get to work for myself so I can be, I can be assured about my income. But when you take that from me, I can't be sure about my income, man. A glitch could happen in the system, right? A cyber attack can happen and shut down that digital system. No, I want to work for myself. But they're threatening your life saying, no, look, AI coming to take your job, nigga. And we got some universal basic income for you. Take them crumbs and shut up. So that's a threat to your livelihood. It says, hide me from the plots of this evil mob, from this gang of wrongdoers, okay? These devils are an evil mob, okay? This evil mob. They're not righteous, man. Just because they have on a suit and tie, they articulate their words, move their hands, and, look the part. These are very sick people. Keep in mind, Paul said, what? There is wickedness in high places, man. Amongst these elites, they're all wicked. And they're looking to overthrow your life. They're plotting, they're planning, they're scheming, man. Day in and day out. while this world focus on nothing, all right, trying to achieve some worldly goals, which is nothing. These devils coming to squash your dreams, man, squash your hopes in this damn world. So if you're a brother or sister out there trying to achieve something in this world, you're wasting your damn time, man. I'm not saying that you can't go out there and get it, take care of yourself, but don't get too invested. Because these devils looking to overthrow it, man. It says they sharpen their tongues like swords and aim their bitter words like arrows. They shoot from ambush at the innocent, attacking suddenly and fearlessly. They encourage each other to do evil and plan how to set their traps in secret. Who will ever notice, they ask. As they plot their crimes, they say, we have devised the perfect plan. Yes, the human heart and mind are cunning. So to them, this MOTB system, right, the AI governance, robots and drones and all this crap, man, to them, that's a perfect plan to get them God-like ability, truly, okay? To be able to control your buying and selling, brother, that is massive, massive power. What do you mean you can cut me off from eating? From survival, you can cut me off from that? What? That's the system that's coming. That's if you want to get involved in the system. That's how it's going to be. So to them, they're devising the perfect plan. MOTB, AI governance. That to them, that's the perfect plan. It says, but the Most High himself will shoot them with his arrows, suddenly striking them down. The Most High coming with that destruction, man. That's the Most High's perfect plan, okay? As they plot their crimes and do their wickedness, the Heavenly Father, he is preparing great judgment for these devils, man. Oh, Psalm chapter 2. Most High laughing at these devils, man. It says, Psalms 2:1, it says, why are the nations so angry? Why do they waste their times with futile plans? Right. Esau, you wasting your time, bro. Investing all this money into AI, trying to control every damn thing, trying to control water and our consumption of water. Dude, you're crazy. The Most High see you, bro. It says, the kings of the earth prepare for battle, and rulers plot together against the Lord and against his anointed one. Let us break their chains, they cry, and free ourselves from slavery to the Most High. Right, we don't want to deal with the Most High. To hell with a higher power of God, all that stuff. This is their mindset. They're trying to do away with the Most High and create their own intelligence, right? These are their plans, to create their own intelligence with AI, okay? It says, but the one who rules in heaven laughs. The Lord scoffs at them. Then in anger he rebukes them, terrifying them with his fierce fury. So the Most High get ready to judge you devils, man. So go ahead with your plans, man. Do what you're going to do. But the Bible let us know that you're going to fail. All right, you're going to fail miserably. So I'm going to close out with that, man. I pray that was edifying. Once again, man, I'm going to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bashim Al-Shai, Bashim Al-Kakodash. Keep your eyes on the swivel, man. They're moving fast, bro. They're moving fast with this AI crap. And next year, 2026, they're saying that we're going to see some great changes come to this society, to the world. So Lord willing, it happen. Okay, so we can get the hell out of here. Please. I pray the Most High God give Esau all the success he needs to bring forth the MOTB. Please. Give him everything he needs, Lord, so he can come on with it and we can get the hell out of here. Real talk. Shalom.